customer dropped by an old STIHL 038 chainsaw. He said he found it in his father-in-law's garage and that it had been sitting for around 5 years. So let's get into it, see if we can get it back in line. First glance, it looks okay. Plastics aren't all cracked. Looks like it's definitely been used, but chain is definitely dull. Let's get this bar cover off. Okay, let's get this dirty fuel because I'm sure it is in rough shape. Looks like the tank is leaking too by this gasket. Yeah, it's not going to run on that. There's a lot of trash in the bottom of the tank too, so let's get that cleaned out. Now I'll take some compressed air and blow this tank out. Looks like the fuel line has been replaced at some point. Let's put some fresh fuel in it. While we got it on its side, let's check the bar oil. Alright, now let's pull the plug on it. When you pull these plug boots, it's a good idea to twist them as you're coming out with them. That'll keep from tearing the end off. It's a little nasty. Let's throw my new plug in. Let's take a peek. Cylinder looks good for what I can see of it. Let's take the air filter off, blow it out. Got an old Tillotson carburetor on it. You don't see them very much anymore. Alright, now let's set it down here on the floor, see if it'll do anything. Well, in all honesty, I was not expecting that. This fuel line is a little bit hard, so let's dump this fuel back out of it and let's get that fuel line replaced. Doing those pliers and try to grab the fuel line. There you have it. And it's not terrible, but we're going to replace it. And while we got that out, we're going to replace the filter too. Okay, so we got our fuel line, and I did notice this grommet has a square on one side. That goes to the front, so it's going to sit in there like that. Cut a little sliver on it so we can get it in the grommet easier. Cut the sliver off. This may be easier to do if I go ahead and remove this carburetor, so let's do that. Got our throttle lever disconnected. Alright, now let's get our grommet back in the tank. Now we're going to put our carburetor back on. What I'm doing there is holding the butterfly back so I can get the throttle link back in position. Before I cut this to length, let's get the filter on the other end. Slide our new filter on. Alright, now we can put that back in the tank. Now we're going to pull some of the line back up through the top so we don't have too much hanging in the bottom. You just want your filter laying in the bottom of the tank. Size up our fuel line. Looks like we can cut just a little bit off. Move up that nipple just a little bit. I don't like how that wire is rubbing on that throttle link, so let's pull this back off and run the wire on the other side of the fuel line. Put our air cleaner back in place. Now when it comes to the bar, you see these two holes here. There's one here and there's one down here. Same on the other side, it runs all the way through. You want to make sure that these holes are clear because your oil comes out here of the saw and it travels in this hole and gets in this channel, and that's what lubricates your chain. This bar is worn pretty bad. I am going to suggest that he replace this bar. I did buff it up, tried to remove the burr on the edge there and squared up the railings. But let's put it back on for now and get the chain back on it. Alright, so I gave it a quick cleaning. Let's get this bar, this wore out bar, and the chain back on. Alright, I got my fuel back in it. Let's see. After sitting for 5 years, it really didn't need all that much. I was expecting to at least have to put a kit in the carburetor, but in this case it didn't need it. I can't do any cutting with it tonight. It's dark and it's pouring down rain, but tomorrow I am going to sharpen this chain and put it in some wood and make sure everything is good to go with it. If you found this video entertaining, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.